just continue to share a few stories here, and mostly for my family. My son Hunter, he might get a kick out of these one day. That's a good newspaper story. In 1996, I was on staff with the Rock Hill Herald newspaper, and I shot a ton of sports back then. I shot NFL, NBA, NASCAR, college football. It was a lot of fun. And in May of 1996, I got the assignment to photograph the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And so it's Sunday, I'm heading up, and I walk up to the tower there. I set up on the tower high above the speedway, and see the start finish line and getting set up. I look over, my buddy Murray Glenn is walking out, and Murray was in the press box and had come out, and he landed a great job with a Charlotte sports marketing firm, and one of his accounts was Coca-Cola. And so we start talking before the race, and he's telling me he's all excited. He is pumped up about this promotion that Coca-Cola's doing. And they're going to send this helicopter over, and they're going to drop hundreds of these Coca-Cola parachute bottles into the stands for the fans. And they're real light. They didn't have Coke in them. They said they put the paper. They had paper in there. The paper you could redeem for a Coke or a hat. And he's just so excited about this thing. He says, "Listen, man, if you get some pictures of it, I'd love to see it." I said, "Absolutely. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be something to watch. Hundreds of these bottles just kind of flow out of this chopper up real high." Not long after, the fans start to come in, and the race is building up. And sure enough, I look up. There's a helicopter coming in kind of high, and he's slowing down. I said, "That must be it." And I look up, and these bottles just start to flow out of the helicopter, and there's one problem. The pilot misjudged the wind, and every single one of those bottles floated to about a quarter mile outside the speedway into a landfill. And I'm just sitting there laughing, watching these things. And I gave Murray a hard time about that for years. And I really wanted to get one. I remember thinking during the race, I got to figure out how to get one of those things. But they floated so far out, I didn't know how I was going to get one. That'd be fun to have one to remember that story by, And those are some long days out there. I finished up around midnight, 1 a.m. I'm walking to my car to head home. And I look over, and a father and son are tailgating behind their truck. And I look, and he's got several of these Coke bottles. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, there's several of them." And I go up to him and said, "Hey, how'd you get those things?" And he says, "Well, my son went out, let him go out and get them. He went out to that landfill and got a few of them." And I said, "Hey, can I offer a few bucks for one of those? I'd love to have one." He said, "I'll just take one." So I've got one in my office now. This is the official Coca-Cola bottle that floated out to a landfill instead of going down to the fans that day. But tough day for you, Murray, but you've done a lot of good things since then, man. But that's a good story from the newspaper days.